Hello and welcome to something a little new for Pushing Cardboard. I'm going to try something today that my online friend Zilla Blitz does over on his channel. Takes 10 random games off a shelf and just a quick word on why they're still on the shelf. If they're played, unplayed, going to be played, going to be moved out, or however he feels about him. So I watched him do this a couple of times and I thought it looked like a lot of fun. So I'm going to give it a go as well. So I put my collection, exported my collection into a numbered list and used an online number generator. And I think that's half the fun, not choosing which ones I'm going to talk about. I absolutely took the ones that came up, and we'll just have to suffer through whatever they are, good and bad. So here we go. Here's the first game on the list. It's Napoleon 1806. I think this is from Shakos. Yeah, Shakos. They've got Napoleon 1806. I've also got their 1807 game. And I think I'll be getting their 1815 in game as well. Now I bought the 1806 and the 1807 together when the 1807 came out. I bought those on Kickstarter, so that's why I have this one. And I've only messed around with this one solo. I haven't played it head to head yet. I really look forward to that. I've heard great things about these games. The board and the pieces are lovely. The production values are great with Shakos. Same thing with the 1807 game as well. I think it's 1806, 1807. That's right. So I expect the same from the 1815 game. I can't really speak to the gameplay or balance or anything like that, but the production quality is good and the reputation is good. So these games will definitely be staying in my collection for a while. Next up, this is a very popular game. This is in a lot of people's collection. This is No Retreat: The Russian Front by Carl Paradis, and this is published by GMT Games. This game was originally from Victory Point Games, and as I think Carl has said on a few interviews, he made it sort of as he liked the constraints of the Victory Point company design, their publishing model, where he was constrained to a certain small amount of counters and not a very big map. So that was the original Victory Point games. Then it was republished by GMT, slightly enlarged, but not much. Still, this is a lot of people's go-to game for East Front action. I've played it a few times. I've enjoyed it every time. I've also got his newer Absolute War game, and I'm enjoying that as I work my way through it as well. So another one that's definitely staying in the collection. Okay, next up is one I don't have the box for this. This is Command and Colors. Sorry, not Command and Colors. Combat Commander. These are my. These are just pages out of my scenario pages out of my Command and Colors binder. But what this was Scenario Pack 5. I think it's basically on France 1940. This section of selection of scenarios, and but I think this is also the one that had the that introduced a way to play AFVs in Combat Commander, which is something I'm not totally interested in, and so I suppose I may not have bought this scenario pack other than I bought a used lot of several scenario packs at once, and this was part of it. So I was happy from the completionist point of view, but definitely the how to turn Combat Commander into a game that includes AFVs wasn't something that interested me much. But anyway, I'm it just so happens that I'm just reading my third book in a row on the fall of France, so this would be a good time to break out some of these scenarios with my my regular combat commander partner Andrew, and maybe have a go at some of those. That would be now would be timely for me. Next up, The Legend Begins by Mark Simonich. This is one of his earlier games. I think in a way it was self-published maybe. This is copyright 1994 Terran Games. And I think this might be the second edition. I think Terran Games might have been his own sort of self-publishing company before he got involved with GMT. This is a fantastic game. This is before he got into the whole Zogbons thing, but some of the same concepts there. From what I understand, at the moment, he is making a new Africa game using elements of his Zogbon system. So we'll see if we'll see how that compares to this. If it's just if it's simply an update of this, I'll be more than happy. I love this game. My only gripe about this game is you know, it's the 1990 style counters, which normally doesn't bother me at all. They're just little half-inch counters, but the black ink on red counters is difficult to read. That's all. That's straight up. That's the only problem. Other than that, this is a great game. I'll never part with it, even if I get the new Simonich version of it, which is supposed to be announced fairly soon, I think. Oh, okay. Here's another one that's a little bit off the beaten path. I have this listed as a game. This is the Trung bot update for Fire in the Lake. Fire in the Lake, the GMT coin game, and it came with bots for all the different players in its original version, but Bruce Mansfield and with developer Jason Carr came up with another different bot system so that you can play, I think, any of the four sides in Fire in the Lake using bots. So I haven't even tried it yet. I'm keeping it in the collection, of course, just because I like Fire in the Lake, and I intend to give it a try. Just haven't got there. You know, too many games, too little time. Up next, well, how about this one? The latest edition of Quad-A-Guerre from ASL. I suppose if I do this Shelfie thing very often, I might have to just skip over some of the ASL stuff, because my list is populated by a lot of ASL titles, and it could get wearisome, I suppose. Quad-A-Guerre, of course, is the French module, and has all the early 1940 action for the fall of France, as well as some Vichy French scenarios as well. Your standard ASL stuff here. Lots of boards, lots of counters, lots of scenarios. Not a lot in the way of new rules or anything like that. But if you're interested in the early war, as I am, it's a must-have. Here's an interesting one. This is Against All Odds magazine, and the game is Not War But Murder. Another game by Mike Ranella. This is a Civil War game, the Battle of Cold Harbor, and you know, if you sort of follow the industry or the hobby at all, you know that Mike Ranella is sort of the current champion of area impulse games. I think he must have made at least a dozen of them, both small sort of folio games, or well, this is sort of this size, all the way up to like big games like his Monty's Gamble game on Market Garden, or Verdun on the Volga, his game on Stalingrad. So he's got big games, little games, but just he's really done all kinds of different things with the area impulse system, and I've only played this one once, but really enjoyed it, and it's up next on the table with me and a pal who are finishing up another Micronella game, his Return to the Rock Corregidor game. So once that's finished, we're gonna flip back to the American Civil War and try this out. So definitely a keeper there. Here's an older one. Speaking of Area Impulse, this is I think this is the second ever Area Impulse game. This is Thunder at Casino from Avalon Hill. I'm pretty sure this was designed by Courtney Allen, the original designer of the inventor of the Area Impulse system, with his game Storm over Arnhem. But maybe not. It could have been this might be a Don Greenwood or something like that. Somebody else might have done it from those early 90s Avalon Hill years. It's kind of what you think. It's early Area Impulse, so it doesn't have things like the sunset die roll rules or anything like that. But still a fun game. The map is pretty constricting, as I remember. I haven't played this for a couple of decades, but it kind of corkscrews up the mountain up Casino. So it feels like you have to kind of stick to those pathways, or not pathways, but it's not like you can. There's not a lot of room to maneuver on this game, but nonetheless, I remember really liking it. I don't know, maybe it's just because I like Area Impulse games, and it was just the second one, and so I was excited to get a second one. But I'm definitely still hanging on to this because I'm sure I'll get a chance to revisit it at some point. Okay, now here's one from a different publisher. This is from Worthington. This is Texas Arrows. I think this was the second expansion for the Band of Brothers system. So another World War II tactical system. Competing with ASL and whatnot. I've got mixed feelings about that system so far. I want to keep. I'm keeping it because I have the base game and this and another expansion, and I'm keeping trying them whenever I can find someone who will play it with me. There's things about it I don't like. I don't like some of the art design. I don't like the fonts on the counters. I know it sounds like a small thing, but they could just be more legible. I don't like the way the rule book is written. It's in big chunky paragraphs. Maybe it makes it easier to learn that way, but it's really terrible as a reference rule book. When you're trying to look something up, it's not easy to find it. And there's something about the rule book that it's like the designer was like saying, "Screw you, ASL. This is what a real game should be like." And I don't know. I just didn't dig that sort of vibe. I think there's room for both, and you don't have to be cutting down the other one to make yourself look good. But that said, I got a few buddies who've given up all their other tactical World War II games because they love this one so much. So I'm hanging on to it to see if I become one of the persuaded. Okay, and finally, one more. Nice to see yet another publisher here. This is, you can hear it in there. This is Amateurs to Arms, the War of 1812 from Clash of Arms games. And this is a card-driven game. And what I love about this game is it's the type of card-driven game where both players use the same deck, and the deck is huge. It's like, I don't know, 128 cards, something like that. So you're not going to use all the cards in a game. The cards aren't divided up by year or anything like that. So the game is totally not scripted. And unlike some card games, like say Twilight Struggle, where to be a really great player, you need to really know the deck. Learning the deck in this game is not going to help you because half the cards aren't even going to be used. So, well, I shouldn't say half, but some aren't, and you just can't rely on cards. And also, Unlike other games where there's certain cards for each period of a war or a conflict, this game, all the cards are just in one big deck. So even if you did know all the cards, you could be looking out for a card that doesn't turn up until the very last turn of the game. So I guess that's just a long way to say card knowledge is not what separates the wheat from the chaff here. This is a great game, and I heartily recommend it. And works well on Vassal as well. I've played it on Vassal a bunch. Really good game. So there we go. There's 10 games from my shelves, and I guess in the terms of these 10, I'm keeping them all. Haven't quite played them all, but played over half of them. Yeah. I'm going to try this again. I think that was kind of fun. Always good to look at old games that you haven't had a look at in a while. If you enjoyed this, check out my website at pushingcardboard.com, and you can always get a hold of me on Twitter as well at cardboardpusher. See you next time.